You don't. Cheez-Its are already in the shot. Can't do anything about it. My shopmate thinks she's better than me because her tool wall is prettier than mine.
Whoa.
So we're gonna change that today.
This is the cottage core of tool walls, Eric.
Cottage core?
Yeah.
Is cottage core a thing?
Yeah.
What is cottage core?
It's like organized clutter, like cozy. It does look, or it has looked at odds with your wall.
So, we've been in this space about a year and a half, a little bit less than a year and a half. And when we moved in, as these spaces are wont to do, it was just a big open room. And right here to my right, there's a slop sink, there's some other utilities that just, it didn't look great on camera, yes, but it also felt, I don't want to use the word icky, like that's not what I'm not trying to say it gave me the ick because I'm old and not cool and I'm not a Gen Zer, but it did a little bit. It didn't feel complete. It didn't feel like a space I wanted to exist in. And so very quickly, Larissa and I developed the idea of building a wall here and decorating it in the vein of Wharton Esherick. And timeout. If you don't know who Wharton Esherick is, you should probably pause this video and go Google him because number one, he's one of the most influential furniture makers of the 20th century, and number two, certainly has one of the biggest influences on my career and my design aesthetic of any historical maker. So go check him out. Time in.
Game on! Game on!
So we decided to make this wall in the vein of Esherick with this kind of sunburst pattern and paint the background and let any of the seams that you can see through have this color come through. And what's happened over the last year is Larissa has had the drive and the time to complete her side of the wall, and I have had neither of those things. So you may have noticed in past videos, I just kind of have this green wall here and it looks dumb. And to be frank, I don't really feel like working today. So I'm gonna work on that instead. Here's what we're working with. This is my side of the wall, right? And you've got these green undertones. They're not undertones right now. It's just very much green. But this is going to be the undertones behind the seams. Again, like I said, go Google Esherick because this is all very much, it's not a ripoff, but it's a little bit of a ripoff. It's going to be the undertones underneath the seams that are exposed between these pieces of ply. This is just 1/4 inch ply that we have, or she has, cut down to an angle and then beveled slightly, and then that allows you to have just kind of this interesting decorative pattern on a wall, which is way more interesting than just having a blank plywood wall. In my opinion, you may disagree and that's totally fine, but hey, this is my shop and that's what I want on the wall, so that's what I'm gonna do over here. Larissa has been kind enough to give me 2 points on which to work off. I'm gonna do a similar pattern, but I've got one piece that will go that way and I've got another piece that will go that way, and then the rest of the wall will kind of play over here. I'm thinking, given the situation, given the markers that I have to work off of. Right now, I think my plan is to do something kind of like a sun pattern over here and then work those rays down and across. I'm just gonna start going and see what comes out because it's a plaything and it doesn't really matter and it's all about just having fun and relaxing in the shop today. So, cue the music. All right, quick stopping point to have a discussion. I've got the first 2 rays off there and everything's running smoothly, everything lines up with the other corner and it looks great. But now I'm floating in the ether. Now I have no anchor point for which to aim. Larissa's giving me nothing on the bottom part of this wall to continue that pattern down. So now I have a choice to make. I could either kind of continue roughly that angle, figure out what that angle is and kind of eyeball it, and that would be good enough, and 9 times out of 10, that's what I would do. Or I could grow or shrink those rays, right? They could get wider as they go down and create more of a cascading effect, which may happen just by the nature of keeping that same angle. The longer they go, the wider they get. So I don't really know where it's going right now. What I do know is, as I'm looking at this, I have a funny inclination I'm gonna do something up there. It's not just gonna stay wood, but I don't know what it is yet. So if you noticed, I didn't actually glue that in place as I did with the other 2 rays. I just tacked that up so that I can remove it and play with it later. But for right now, I have a template and that's good enough. The other thing I wanna touch on is, you may have seen me using a hand tool to bevel the edges of that plywood. And you may have been screaming at your computer, phone, device, tablet, whatever you're watching this video on and saying, Eric, what the hell are you doing? You're gonna dull your blade. That's bad practice. Who uses a blade on plywood? Well, first of all, deep breaths, guys. We're gonna be okay. I use a blade on plywood regularly. You're not gonna do any damage to your blade. You're probably gonna dull it slightly faster than you would on just a normal hardwood, but you're certainly not gonna dull it faster than if you were using a plane on some tropical hardwood with a high silica content. So it all comes out in the wash. But also, you may have noticed, I'm not using my favorite plane. I'm not using my normal block plane. I'm using this guy, which is an old wood river that I've lambasted in the past because I don't particularly like these tools, but it's one of the first ones I bought and I kept it as I upgraded specifically so that I have some tools to take to a job site with me, because sometimes it's really nice to have a block plane and a number 4 on a job site. So I have a couple of number 4s I take with me to the site, and I take this block plane with me, and it serves that purpose really well. Now, I need to make some design decisions, so let's get back to work. All right, done, looking good, happy with it. The rays all went up nice and smooth, everything is nice and tight, and I actually rather do like the fact that looking at it, you can tell that it's a single sheet of plywood that's been ripped up and rearranged. Like, most of my work doesn't end up looking like that for obvious reasons, but that kind of is an interesting feature of this because it is just a single sheet of ply. I did mention earlier on that I didn't adhere the sun component up to the top of the piece. I still haven't. It feels to me like there is an opportunity there to do something, but I don't know what that thing is just yet. Something about like mixed media is jumping into my brain, but I don't know that today is the day to do it. It could be brass, it could be tile, it could be mirror glass, it could be a mosaic, but I think I'm gonna let that sit for now because it's a tool wall and I can always pop that off and do something interesting there down the line when that thing jumps out at me and I know what it is. So for right now, I think the goal is to get the tools back up on the wall, make a little bit of a display, not overwork it because it's a play day. I'm not gonna take it too seriously. And you always wanna leave room for growth. I don't know what belongs on that wall just yet because I don't reach for that wall just yet. I usually reach for the wall behind my bench. So I'm gonna leave a little room for growth. I'm gonna get some things up on there, make it feel tidy and workable, and then we'll see what it looks like. So friends, that's that. Was it a silly build? A little bit. Was it superfluous? Absolutely. Did it bring me joy? 100%. And at the end of the day, I'm in a space a lot. And I think it's worth investing in that space from time to time to make it a place where you feel comfortable and excited to go work and do some things. So that's all this was really. Now, yes, it was originally intended to be a one-day build, and it ended up being done over 2 days, and those 2 days were several days apart because life happens. That's just how it goes sometimes. But all in all, I know you guys are very curious about real time and how long things took. This was probably 8 hours-ish of work. So I'm gonna leave this as it is and continue to add to this wall as is necessary, but I don't wanna clutter it right now because there's gonna be things that I need to add to it in the future. So I always wanna leave space to grow, and that's what this is. But for right now, I'm gonna get out of here because a very exciting thing just came in the mail. And I'm gonna go play with this now. So, friends, till next week, go make a thing and try to enjoy it. Cheers.